But anyway, so I went to his page and I said, well, let me see. I saw he had like almost 1 million followers. Jeez. And I said, right. And he's a podcaster. So I said, why do you have so many followers? Right. So then I started going through some of his reels and just listening to a couple of them. And all of them start off with, men, you're doing this bad. Men, you're doing that bad. Men, you're doing this bad. Right. One of them was talking about how being an active mother and an active father have two totally different meanings. Right. And he's talking about being an active mother is going to PTA meetings and getting up and making breakfast, yada, yada, yada. Being an active father is maybe getting the kids on the weekends, right?
What?
Being an active father is buying them a toy every once in a while. Like, and I'm just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, and so he is so dangerous the way that he talks. So then I went to his followers and I said, how many of my followers follow him? Mm-hmm. And I literally had like 25.
Wow.
25 of the people that I am friends with that on Instagram follow him. I said, okay, let's see. And I started scrolling through. Every single one of them was a woman.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And I said, there we go. I said, so my intuition, right, was correct. Number one, you're not going to have 1 million followers bashing women, right? You're not going to. You have to bash men. Mm-hmm. You have to pander to women to get that many followers. You mentioned Mr. Let Go. Mm-hmm. Guess how many followers he has?
86,000.
Nick, how about 6,000, 8,000? He's popular.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a big YouTube following, but his Instagram, 8,000. Nobody follows him. Why? Because he's red pilled. He talks to women, right? So it's just like people like that. They come off as experts, but it's just like, bro, you're doing this just to simply pander to women and to basically push this stereotype that men are just trash. It's like, bro, you're no different than any other woman out there that's just bashing black men.
Have you seen any of his content that you can agree with? Or was it just majority of everything that you see?
Well, he just listened to clips.
No. Well, I've seen pieces of their podcast, but I don't like any of them. Like even and Mr. Let Go is the only one on there that I've actually listened to. But I don't like every time he talks, it's something. My intuition, something is like I don't like him.
So how you feel is how like women feel when they hear Kevin Samuels.
It's not about. Okay, I see where you're going. It's not about how I feel. It's part of my intuition is saying, don't listen to this, right? So then I went through his reels and I said, let me listen. And every single one of them was not a feeling. I'm listening. It's bashing men, right? So it is. So I'm now doing some digging. Right now, did I listen to their whole podcast? I mean, their podcasts are 3-4 hours long. But I also don't like the other women that are on the podcast either. Right? Like
I would listen to one.
I mean,
just one, because I mean, we could say the same thing about clips that we choose not to use, and then we just base our feelings off these clips. And granted, of course, what you heard in that clip, you didn't agree with, but
I mean, it wasn't just. I mean, I don't follow him. I don't go to people's pages to purposely say, don't follow this person. Don't show me their stuff. It was that strong that said, I don't want to see this content because there's something wrong with this. I'm sorry. You don't.
I mean, I think what Mel is saying is fair because it's what we would tell somebody to do for KS. Now, here's the difference. You're making it sound as if I go to his page on YouTube and I go through his clips, which means this is the message that he is putting out personally. You're saying that these are the clips that you're seeing. This isn't a narrative that someone else is trying to paint.
This is his personal page, not his podcast page. His personal page. These are clips on his page. So things from the podcast or from his own podcast, not clips that someone's going to take from Kevin and then say, listen to this.
Right.
Or Top G and say, listen to this out of context.
Right.
He is posting this stuff
out of context
for clicks.
Right. Well, I mean, that says a lot. I understand why you don't think that you need to listen to a full podcast, because he's pretty much damning himself. I understand why Mel said what he said.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to listen to KS, don't. You want to listen to this guy, don't. It's not really about that. Now, if Steve goes on a parade talking about how this dude is this, that, and the other, and I hope he dies, and you go take it to the level that they did with KS, because it's like, boom, you hear something you don't like, you just don't listen to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if he goes hard and he hasn't fully fleshed it out, then I would have a problem.
Right. It was simply, I said, I keep seeing his clips, and I'm like, I don't like him every time he talks. And then I went to his page, and then I said, let me listen to some of the stuff he's putting out. And now I found his page. His name is Ace Metaphor. And
yeah, I've never heard his name.
I never heard
I might have seen him though.
Let me see. You want me to play one of his clips?
that. Sure.
I mean,
Ace Metaphor.
yeah. Which are you supporting your child? You should have chose better. Looks like raising your. I mean, what do you? An active mother. Let's
Pick whatever you like.
An active father got two different definitions. Ghost on active mother and an active father got two different definitions. Active mother, trenches, day in, day out, 24/7. Active mother, PTA meetings, soccer practice, football practice, reading, teaching, homework. Active mother, cook, clean, rear. Active mother. Active father, he come over on weekends. Active father, he buy a gift or two. Active father, he FaceTimes every once in a while. Different definitions, different standards. Just because you an active father don't mean you pulling your motherfucking weight. You active enough to take pictures, but are you 24/7? Do you know his teacher's name? Do you know what his grade point average is? You know what size shoe your kid wear? You know what prescription his glasses is? When is his next doctor appointment? Quit calling yourself a active parent, active father, just because you post pictures on social media once or twice a month. Just because you're not in the
I don't think you say anything wrong in that one.
active
It depends on what perspective you're coming from. Based on that, I could see how that can be taken out of context. I personally,
What's not taken out? I mean, I don't think it's taken out of context. I think it's how you perceive it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
yeah, I don't think he said anything wrong there, because I don't know, based on that clip, there's not a setting of it.
So we have to assume we're speaking generally, right? Because that's all you have. You have the clips. He's speaking generally. An active father and an active mother are two different things. The active mother is actually present. The active father is an afterthought. That's not true.
It's not
like
true.
at all. He's talking about an inactive father.
Correct.
Yeah. That's
So-
what
well,
that's how I perceive
but
it.
that's not what he said.
That's how I perceived it.
But that's not what he
But
said.
that's not what he said.
He said an active father. This is what y'all think an active father is, or this is the
what an
definition of an active
father
father
is.
is.
I didn't take it that way.
That's what he
That's
said.
what he
though.
said.
I know that's what he said, but hearing that clip, because that's why I would want to see the full video versus seeing that clip, because I perceive it a completely different way.
Well, here's the thing, Mel. Once again, it's only the clip, so that's where we're at, right? However, if he wanted things to be equal, he would say, active mother, father gives you father gives you child support, and you go spend it on some nails.
He would have gave them both a negative connotation.
Exactly. He wouldn't have given one. So you can't say
He gave the
active
woman
mother,
all
active father,
positive.
all the woman stuff is positive, and all the male stuff is negative. That don't work.
Yeah, no. I don't think that was what he was trying to say. But I see that's
Why? How do you come to that conclusion? You're basically just guessing.
No. Based on how I'm understanding his message, I don't see, I see how that him saying that it's putting that message of the man is doing less than the woman. I get that. I'm not getting rid of that message that's obvious. But when I'm watching that, to me, it doesn't make logical sense for him to actively say that. So I'm thinking okay, maybe he is putting it in a situation of how it's normalized in the community of mothers being active and the parents, the mothers being more hands-on in a black home, and the men aren't there. They just see them on the weekends, maybe because it's like a child support system set up. This is how my mind goes when I'm thinking about the situation. Because I'm trying to see, I try to give the benefit of the doubt before I commit to what's an obvious what it is.
I can understand that. But when I tell you, when I said that I went through his page and I got to this conclusion based on what I saw, right? Does that, when I said that he panders towards women, which means he's going
based
to,
on that, yes, that pander towards
I mean,
women.
because I can close my eyes and just click something and they're all the same way.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Right?
He said nothing negative about women right there.
Right. I mean, click any. I mean,
Nigga, just press one.
Oh, hold on.
Already walking that walk. Don't take breaks. He ain't gotta say submit to me. This man is already walking that walk, so he ain't gotta talk the motherfucking talk, man. Find you a man that ain't gotta talk that. Be submissive. His actions, the way he carries himself, the way he handles his business, the way he cares for you and the children, the way he's considerate of your needs, the way he reciprocates the energy you give him, gives you the trust to follow his lead because he is down to follow yours if in any situation you are more qualified. He ain't leading from a place of ego. He is leading from a place of wanting to see what's best for himself and his family. These men ain't saying submit to me because I'm the man and that's what you're supposed to do. They ain't gotta say that. Because they actions is talking for them. Any man that got to do all this jibber jabber and submit to me, I'm a man, I'm masculine, all this different, is because he devoid things show women good idea to follow. I'm telling you, when a man is leading his own life, he ain't got to say all that.
I'm not gonna say anything. I want to hear y'all points of view first.
I don't have once again, I did not, let me just be clear with what I said. I said I don't like how he panders towards women. This is what I would consider sneak dissing, right? I don't have an issue with what he is saying, as in he is teaching women, this is what the man you need to look for. But what he's doing is he's sneak dissing all of the podcasters, all of the men that are talking about submission and men that are saying, submit to me. There's a movement happening, right? So I don't have a problem with what he is saying, the words. It is the intention behind it and the message he's shooting on the low end. So if a woman listens to this, she's going to say, well, if a man has to say submit to me or I want this or I want that, then he's not the one for me because he's not talking or there's no action. He's just talking, right? That's what he is. That's the way I perceived that message.
So most of what he said, I'll probably say about 85% of what he said I would agree with. I think that there were elements of what he said that were a little weird. Like he said, okay, so when a man is on his purpose and he's doing his thing, he's leading. You don't gotta say submit. A woman will automatically submit. Well, that's not true.
That's not true.
Women aren't going to just submit because you're on your purpose. I know that for a 1,000% fact. Okay, so it removes any onus from the woman to take responsibility. And once again, this is just a clip, but it removes any onus from the woman to take responsibility. A man, just like a woman, should go into a relationship or an interpersonal relationship they're already playing their roles. I shouldn't have to do something for you to play your role. You should automatically play your role. Whether I play my role or not, you play your role because that's who you are, right? So that part was a little weird. And then he said something about everything was leaning towards the man is going to make sure you're taken care of. He's going to pay attention to your needs. It's like, okay, it's all about the woman.
So what?
So
what about his? What about my needs?
What about the man's needs? It should be the opposite. It should be the woman.
She's to help me.
Yes, the woman is going to tend to the man's needs. The man is going to tend to the family's needs, but the woman is going to tend to the man's needs.